So first of all, thank you so much, everybody, for your valuable time. I know that everybody here is super busy with your schedule, with your time, with your work, and thank you for sacrificing 1 hour of your time to listen to our newest study, which is supported by the UNDP in Laos. Thank you so much. So before launching the study, I like to ask our partners, our supporters to introduce themselves from UNDP in Laos. Please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me, Anand?
Yes, I can hear you, Arman.
Well, on our end, it's been a pleasure to support this report. I'm Arman, a Justice Inclusion Officer at UNDP, joined here by Sivan, my colleague, who is the lead inclusion specialist within the unit, the governance unit at UNDP. And I believe that this research is really great and it will really contribute to ensuring that the lives of LGBTI people are really considered in Lao PDR. And thank you for letting us support this research, Anand.
Thank you so much, Arman, for introducing yourself and mention about the title and objective of this study. So the title of this study is called LGBTQI in Laos, Rights and Realities, a social analysis of current lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersex perspectives in the Lao PDR. So this is, let me tell you, this study is not like a technical knowledge or something super new, but is the most updated that can share with you about the voices of the community. So as you are aware that today is the International International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia, the 17th of May. So we are very delighted to launch this report with you all. And I think this report can be utilized in the advocacy work regarding to LGBTQI rights in the Lao PDR. Next, please. So, while society has made strides towards equal rights and challenging stigma, barriers to LGBT acceptance remain, and although new laws promote equality regardless of gender, societal status, education, and belief, or ethnic group, there is still stigma and discrimination lies inside the society. However, in the Lao Constitution, according to Article 35 and 37, that all Lao people remain, equal to law, which is kind of in the gray zone. We can use this to advocate for our rights because there's no against LGBTQI, but at the same time there is no law protecting the LGBTQI. So it is kind of the opportunity and also the limitation, the restriction when it comes to the subject of LGBTI rights in Laos. And I think that in Laos, we are quite lucky that we don't have the colonial law like 377 to put restriction in same-sex activities. So it is something that we can go on with the government. But at the same time, that means that a lot of things have to do. And there's a lot of conversation that we have to make with the government partners and development partners. Next. So on the 7th March 2012, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon deemed the pattern of violence and discrimination directed at LGBTQI people, a monumental tragedy for those affected, and a stain on our collective conscience, as well as violation of international law. So this is more like an international scale, but when it comes to Laos, like I mentioned earlier, there's no acknowledgement of this issue in the national agenda. But I think that recently we received the historic recommendations from the UN member state, from Iceland and Malta in the Universal Periodic Review. So this is something that Lao PDR can find a way to, to address or hopefully to accept this recommendation from the UN member states. Because, even there is no law that against the LGBTI people in Laos, but stigma and discrimination in the school, in the workplaces is still a problem. Yeah. And I think that it is something that development partners can help us to talk about this issue, to address this issue together. Because as you know that we have the slogan, leave no one behind. So I think that this powerful motto is very big, it's very broad. That means that in order to move forward, we have to ensure that everybody, regardless of their gender, sexual orientation, gender identities, we should not be discriminated or stigmatized simply because of who we are. Next, please. So this study review at the legal, social economy, family, love, and broader social cultural context, impacting gay LGBTQI people in Laos. So it's a qualitative interviews were held in 11 focus group discussion with 75 participants aged 15 to 45 years old, representing LGBTI community and organizations throughout Laos, such as Proud to Be Us Laos. So we, most of the interviewees come from the network of our organization in different provinces and universities, and some help from the and also some participants from NGOs, universities. In three main cities, provinces from different parts of Laos, like I mentioned, from Champasak, from Luang Prabang, and Vientiane capital. Next. Okay, so I'm going, what we show here is very brief. We don't want to bombard you with lots of information. So we try to be very, to put a very key messages. For more information, you can read it in the full report that we just posted on our Facebook page. So the first findings is about family. So increased acceptance by parents and family members is noted with conditional factors such as good behavior and academic success. Family acceptance tends to be less when village heads are unaware of human rights. Mother tends to be more supportive of their LGBTI children than fathers who expect sons to adhere to societal expectation, such as marrying and having kids. So the highlight here is you see the village heads are unaware of human rights. So I think the role of the village heads is very important. As you are aware that at the low level is the village level. So each week there is a meeting at the village level. Maybe villagers go to temple to meet with, I don't know how to put it in the proper term. You have the village meeting once a week or twice a week, something like that. And it would be a game-changing if the village level is aware of this issue. That means if organization in Laos that work with the village level, if you can inject this topic into the village level, I think it will be, it can help to erase the stigma and discrimination, and also increase good level of understanding of this sector. So village level is very important. And I think these voices come from the rural area in one of the provinces that we conducted the study. Next. And this is the testimony. This is just the quote from the interviewees. Maybe I pick one quote. So my parents support me to be whatever I want to be. My mom supports me to be a beauty makeup specialist and want to open a beauty shop for me. My father is a person who dropped me and my friends to this interview today. He will pick up us when we finish. This is adorable. As you see that some parents accept the LGBTIQ children. And it is a great example, really, because we believe that support and acceptance from family is number one wishes for LGBTQI persons, regardless of Laos, but everywhere. So this is a quote that we like to share with you. Next. So education, schools are often unsafe for LGBTI students due to bullying, impacting mental health and academic performance. However, the presence of LGBTI teachers mitigates bullying. Limited sexual education is available in schools, and additional training provided by CHIAS is only accessible in certain provinces. So thanks to our partner organization, CHIAS. CHIAS stands for Community Health Inclusion Association. So I think sexual health education is very important, as we see that UNFPA is also, has launched the comprehensive sexuality education in schools nationwide. However, I think when it comes to LGBTI, or gender diversity is still limited in the school curriculum when it comes to, the national teaching curriculum. So I think it is some topic that we have to look at in order to make sure that school is a safe place for everybody. Okay, next. And social and cultural attitude, societal acceptance of LGBTI people varies among different ethnic groups, with Lao Thai more accepted than the others. Comparatively, Laos show higher acceptance than neighboring countries, but societal stigma persists. I think it is not a new information. And of course, we do have ethnic minorities in Laos. And I give you one example of our former volunteer. She is Hmong, and then she committed suicide after her parents forced her to get married with a man. When she moved to the big city like Vientiane, she found out who she was, and then she cut her hair and become a tomboy. And when she returned to her village in Siang Quang province, and then her parents just could not accept her for who she is, and then at the end she committed suicide. So this is something that we need to work on. I think that even in the macro level, like World Bank, UN, and embassies, I know, of course, you don't work on this issue. I mean, you don't work with CSO directly, but I think that you have the influence to tailor the development program by listening to this small story. Even it's a very small story, but at the end of the day, it's something very close to all of us here, because after we go home, it's all the same. It's all about human story. Yeah. And the quote, maybe I can read one quote here. I am a trans. I was raised by my grandmother, and she had the common stigma of thinking that trans people are only sex workers and have HIV. Yeah, so this is something that very common in Laos. When they see transgender women, they think of sex worker, and then they think of you as a victim of AIDS. A lot of people, even in Vientiane capital, they have the same belief when they see transgender women. And even with feminine gay men as well, they think that, oh, you become a sex worker and get HIV. This is something that we have to educate the society about this wrong belief. And many men said to me, if you are born like this, why are you even born? If you are born, you should have a family. So if you are born and you don't, why are you even here? This is something that still exists in our society. And this study conducted in 2023, so, last, this year actually. So you can see that we still run into this kind of nonsense belief. Yeah. Okay, next. Okay, employment, workplace acceptance of LGBTI people remains low due to gender stereotypes and government regulations, which sometimes contradict the needs of the LGBTI individuals, hindering job opportunities and promotion for them. Certain areas like the NGO sector are more accommodating to the LGBT people. And one quote say here that people say that suitable work for transgender people is the beauty salon, massage, hairdresser, or in the private sector, tour guide, restaurant, hotels, casino, beer shop. Every job with a uniform office government is not suitable. So yeah, so diversity and inclusion at the workplace is something very new in this country. So even the term diversity itself, people still think of diversity about ethnic minorities and diversity in your thoughts, in your opinion, but they don't really think about diversity actually also involve people with different sexual orientation and gender identities. So this is something that one of the core values of core missions of Proud to Be Us Laos. We really want the workplaces to have an accurate understanding of what diversity means to them. So we hope that diversity and inclusion at the workplace is something that we can leverage, we can bring this issue to your workplace, regardless of your organization's type. I think that D&I at the workplace should be another advocacy topic in Laos. So I applied for a job as a chef assistant in a restaurant in Luang Prabang province. I passed 2 rounds of recruitment and was rejected in the 3rd round when they found out that I was a transgender. I didn't really know why it was related to my gender. It might be because being transgender has a negative stereotype and they didn't trust me. It is a very powerful example that duplicate to so many LGBTI, especially trans folks in Laos. Yeah, it is something that we would like you to think about when it comes to this topic. Next. Health. Okay, so there is overall satisfaction with healthcare services despite incidences of insensitive treatment by medical professionals. Issues arise for transgender individuals concerning hormone therapy, mental health issues were referred to, though participants did not disclose any concerns. So when it comes to health, first of all, I have to, to praise and compliment the Lao government for having done a fantastic job in, fighting against HIV/AIDS in their national program. But of course, there's always more to do, right? I think that the growing population, that means that the more we have to do, especially when it comes to our transgender friends. There is no hormone therapy center provided counseling for this group. Many of them have to travel to a neighboring country to simply, consult about how to take hormone therapy, and I think that many of them just misused it, and then some of them even take hormones without counseling doctors. So this is something that we have to think about when it comes to this issue. And mental health is something that we don't talk about in Laos, and I think that in many countries as well. So hormone therapy, mental health issues seems to be a burning issues that we have to leverage, that we have to improve. But the HIV prevention in general, I think that Lao PDR has done a wonderful job. Next. Media and information technology. Social media serves as both a platform for acceptance and a source of discrimination. So there's pros and cons when it comes to media. So I think that, but there are so many positive examples, because I think since a decade ago, I have seen, we have seen so many young people record themselves and share stories about who they are, how proud they are to be LGBTQI persons to public. I think it is a great success compared to the last 10 years. But of course, there's still hatred everywhere. So social media is something that is free and many people can use to educate others. But I think that the mainstream media also play a wonderful role in educating civilians about this issue. And hopefully we'll be able to educate people through mainstreaming media in the future. So maybe I pick one quote here. My mom didn't accept me in the beginning, and I think social media helped her accept me easier, because she saw other families' experiences with it online, and she was more exposed to LGBT. So yeah, it is a very positive example. Okay, next. Religion, okay, Buddhist practice in Laos generally accepts LGBTI individuals, allowing them freedom in religious practice, for example, visiting temples. Other religious communities in Laos, like Christianity and animism, are less accommodating to gender diversity. And one quote here, I feel like I'm lucky to have been born in a Buddhist country. So I can be a transgender, I can go to temple with no problem. And as long as I respect the place and can wear sin. And one quote, there is no problem with Buddhism and being LGBT. Many folks are gay, many monks are gay. I can visit temples and celebrate festival and other ceremonies of Laos. So this is something quite interesting, because I think in Buddhism, there's no there's no mention about being gay, lesbian, or bisexual or transgender is a wrong, is a sin. I think Buddhism talks about, teaches us about peace and how you can live with peace. How can you reconcile solidarity? How can you live together with understanding and peace in your heart? So I think it is an advantage when it comes to Buddhism. So I don't think that we have a big problem here, but of course, religion is a very sensitive issue in other countries, but luckily in Laos it's pretty accepting. Next. Okay, national laws and policies. Despite the Constitution of Lao PDR, Article 35 stating Lao citizens are all equal to law, irrespective of their gender, societal status, education, beliefs, and ethnic group, legal protection for LGBTI people are lacking. Homosexuality is not illegal in Laos, but no law explicitly protects LGBTQI rights or prohibit discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identities. Like I mentioned in the beginning, so in our constitution, the Article 35 mentioned very clear that no matter who you are, if you are Lao people, you are protected by law. But there's no mention about the diversity of your sexual orientation and gender identity. So working on this issue in the Lao PDR is pretty like a guessing game, a guessing, I don't know how to put it in a proper term. It's like you have to make a guess and you have to read the law carefully, but at the same time, you have to know the societal perception and the government, how to navigate with the government agenda at the same time. Because there's no law that protecting the LGBT and there's no law against the LGBT. But I think that the most important is education, raising awareness. So this is something that is not just the role of civil society, but it's also the role of a macro level, like the UN, the government, because I think that even we work in a very high level agenda, but at the end of the day, those high level agenda have to contribute to the well-being of the civil society. I think that is the role of everybody who attending this webinar. So yeah. So one quote here, I love my partner. I registered every asset in her name. My land and motorbike, for example. When we separated, I lost everything because we never had a marriage certificate. Without a marriage certificate, I had no right to ask for her to share, although I was the person who purchased many things. So this one came from a lesbian focus group discussion participant in Champasak province. Okay, we are not asking for a same-sex marriage here. I think Lao PDR has a long way to go. But at least I think that if we have an inclusive policy or law when it comes to people with different sexual orientation and gender identities, sooner or later we have to talk about this issue. Maybe not today, but in the near future, I think that we still have to talk about this. So this is something to give you some heads up. Yeah, next. All right, so we nearly finished. So recommendation from the LGBTI community to civil society organizations. So actively engage in monitoring the implementation of those recommendations in Laos accepted during the first 3 UPR cycles to gather relevant data on improvement of the human rights situation in the country and report at the UPR cycle, focus on documenting and disseminating information on the situation and any specific violation and abuses endured by LGBT people and their defenders, so as to provide recommending states and relevant UN mechanism with solid evidence information, and work collaboratively with recommending states to develop UPR recommendation for Laos cycle focus on strengthening legal protection, eliminating discrimination practices against, and encouraging greater visibility of LGBTI community and LGBT. And integrate LGBTI rights topic in the existing program activities. Let me emphasize the last recommendation. I think that the first three is very technical, mention a lot about UPR and mechanism. But I think we can start simply by integrating the LGBTI rights topic into the existing program activities. I think regardless of our organization type, UN, World Bank, government, embassies, CSO, I think we can start, integrating this issue in your existing program. I think if we are successful in doing this, we can also use the model to work with other vulnerable population. That's the whole message of this one. Yeah, next. Okay, recommendations from LGBTI community to the government of Lao PDR. So recognize the assistance of LGBTI groups in the national development agenda, register organizations or nominate relevant government agencies to act as a focal points representing LGBTI organizations at a national level. Establish a national human rights committee to ensure rights of all groups, including LGBTI. I think that Laos already did that. I think the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has done a fantastic job in tackling human rights issue. And I like to share last year, we almost came up with the first IDAHOBIT Day approved by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I think it is a great step. But at the end, there was the technicality protocol error, and then we couldn't make it. But having said that, I think Laos has the potential to do better in this topic. And run or support awareness raising programs, activities on LGBTI or SOGI rights and facts at all levels, especially at institutional level, and actively promotes diversity and inclusion at schools and workplaces. Next. Adopt a holistic approach to ending discrimination towards the LGBTI community, starting with approving activities that promote visibility and awareness raising to end stigma and discrimination, such as IDAHOBIT. Today is IDAHOBIT Day, so I think that you can use this theme this day to help everybody, to help your own staff, to help your own family members. I think that LGBTI is no longer a political topic, but it's a topic that very close to all of us. So IDAHOBIT Day can be one powerful platform, politically, personally, societally, and culturally. I don't know if it makes sense, and ensure effective follow-up on the recommendations adopted during the UPR review, starting with submitting the follow-up report. Encourage fellow Southeast Asian states to strengthen human rights protection for their LGBTI communities and foster greater state-to-state and regional cooperation and collaboration in this regard. Next. All right, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And I think we have 23 minutes for Q&A, and it doesn't have to be Q&A. If you'd like to share something, personal stories or your organizations, your strategy plan in your organization in regards to this topic, you can share. So I think it is an open floor for all of you. Thank you. Yes, I see hand from Vanida. Please introduce yourself and
Yes, Sabaidi, proud to be Us Lao, and everyone who is joining the meeting. My name is Vanida. Vanida Sonawong. I am actually the contestant in Miss Universe Laos 2024.
wow.
I represent myself as a queer woman, pretty much the first queer woman to be competed in the Lao pageantry. So first of all, thank you for your insight. It's really like fruitful, and I know I finally know like the situation on the LGBTQAI+ in Laos. So question is that have you done any research with worker who works on the entertainment industry, and if you get any insight on why there are more acceptance in this kind of work, and how are we going to safeguard the LGBTQ youth, especially teenagers, since they are in the age of like exploring themselves. And I want to know if there is any projects or any organization that would help with the teen, and that would help the teenagers, like from harms, from the discrimination and the abuse, especially like from adults. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Vanida. First of all, congratulations for making a change and setting such a great example, representing queer to Miss Universe Laos. Wow, this is a great milestone. And hopefully you will crown Miss Universe for this year, so you can make a wonderful influence. I think regarding to your question, one of our interviewees actually, I think she used to work in the entertaining industry. Many of whom work on this area, but there is no specific research targeting this group. But if I recommend you to read the full report, which might answer your question. And I think that there is one CSO that just an emerging CSO. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they got a registration status from the government working on with sex workers. I'll send you the name of the organization right after this session. Maybe you can consult with them or ask for more information. I don't know if the question is answered.
It's crystal clear. You answered all of my questions. Yes, thank you so much. And
Thank you, Vanida.
Rồi.
Yes. Minava.
Thank you, Anand.
Oh, Meminavan. Yes, Meminavan, please.
Yeah, just to add to the answer of Anand, actually, Namjai Community Association and Proud to Be Us, we used to receive funding support from French Embassy under PISCA Fund, and then we also received support from Canada Embassy to implement projects with the LGBT youth in Vientiane capital in 9 high schools in Vientiane capital, and then in 8 from the Canadian Fund in 8 high school in Vientiane capital to raise the awareness of the right of the LGBT people by setting up peer educators in school to talk about violence against LGBT children at school and in at home. And last year we tried to develop a proposal for another route to Canadian Embassy. But before we develop the proposal, this is what Anand said, that we need like a powerful organization to help us to advocate for the right of the LGBT toward the government. And before we develop the new proposal to be submitted to the Canadian Embassy, we approached Lao Women's Union that we would like to apply for a project to advocate for the right of the LGBT, and Lao Women's Union replied us that Lao Women's Union this is at the central level, doesn't work for the right of the LGBTIQ, and then asked us to approach Lao Youth Union for this project. And then at the end, we discussed with Anand that we will keep it low profile to approach Lao Youth Union, because we have the issue last year with organization of the IDAHOBIT Day, so we didn't submit our proposal. But we hope that in the future, with the support of like UNDP, we may have better recognition of our proposal toward the government. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Minavan of น้ำใจชาวบ้าน Association. Thank you for mentioning about the great work we done together with the support from Ambassador France and Canada in Laos. I think these two projects that we receive is one of the great milestones of LGBTI rights advocacy program. I also had the opportunity to share about this with the Canada in Ottawa last trip. So I think it is something that we can extend in the near future. There's a potential that we can work on this issue to further this program. And yeah, I think that it's great that we look for possibility to work with Lao Youth Union. At least the Lao Women's Union made it very clear that they're no longer become a partner for this issue, but with the Lao Youth Union. So this is something we can work with Lao Youth Union in the future. Yes, next, I see Sang Sulisai and Tena.
Hi, Anand.
Yes, สบายดี
Hi, I'm Sang Sulisai. I'm from Winrock International, and I'm so great to hear your research today. So it's very useful. I just want to curious to know, because I work for adult protection service specialist, and we work on the culture trafficking in person, and we also have chance to collaborate with the Ministry of Education. And I would like to share just a brief experience when we organize. We try to integrate the culture trafficking in person into the curriculum. And now that's one experience that when I used to train in the southern Laos, and I faced that if we talk about the gender equality, especially on LGBTQ+, and when we're talking about this, we talk about the gender inclusion. And a lot of teachers feel like surprising what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think I just would like to give recommendations if it will be great if we can like work collaborative educations to integrate the GESI or the SOGI into the curriculum, because I know that they are the one subject that they used to taught at the school, like a population fund, right? And it would be great if we include these topics into population fund, not officially but informal. That's going to be can help the teacher understanding in terms of acceptance and can be educated to another student. It's going to be one option that we can do that I will suggest to recommend to Proud to Be Us. And another thing that I'm curious to know after this presentation, do you have any dissemination plan for the government agency about this research?
Okay.
Yeah, just 2 questions.
Right. The first one, you talk about the CSE, right?
Not the CRC, and I mean that it is possible in the future the Proud to Be Us going to work with their education, Ministry of Education. Especially, I know that there are a population fund, the one subject that the teacher in secondary school or high school, they taught at the school. They talk about the equality, and I think that is possible if we can work with them and integrate some topics of LGBTQ plus in that subject. It's going to be one kind like
the comprehensive sexuality, the CSE implemented by the UNFPA. And I think that we don't work with the Ministry of Education directly, but we work with UNFPA through the on this regard. So UNFPA often extended the invitation to us, and then to provide SOGI rights education to Ministry of Education in the past. And I think that this question is more will be answered more gracefully by the UNFPA. But of course, Proud to Be Us Laos, we think that your suggestion is absolutely in our loop. We really want to work with Ministry of Education and try to amplify the messages on SOGI, diversity and inclusion in the CSE, because it's very clear that CSE mentioned about the diversity of sexual orientation and gender identity. So thanks for your great suggestion.
Yeah,
yes?
thank you.
Next.
Sorry, Anand, sorry, it's Victoria from the UNFPA. I might just jump in here since we're discussing some of our programmatic activities. Firstly, just a disclaimer, I don't work in the youth team that worked on CSE, but I just briefly chatted with Olof, who I know you're very familiar with, Anand. Firstly, I just wanted to say that this is such an excellent report, and this was a really, really interesting presentation. And I really loved hearing those small human stories. They are actually what we're working towards and what we're working for. And sometimes, quantitative data is so important for us to get a big picture, but it's really this qualitative data could not be more important for us to genuinely understand the reality. So thank you so much for sharing. So basically, I checked in with the youth team and they confirmed that there are key concepts on gender and kind of the gender diversity that also covers LGBTQA plus within the CSE curriculum. However, they do note that, it could be stronger and that amendment of the CSE curriculum to have a stronger inclusion on LGBTIQA plus issues is definitely a priority. And Anand, I understand that you and Olof have had some bilateral discussions about what that could look like moving forward. So I thought I'd just say my 2 Ps. Thanks.
Thank you, Victoria from UNFPA. Yes, I think that what UNFPA does is absolutely very impactful. I think even you don't work directly with LGBTI, but through your youth and reproductive health program, I think that UNFPA Laos has done such a wonderful job in addressing the different needs of different groups of young people in Laos and globally. Thank you. And any more question and insights you'd like to share? Any?
May I?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, this is Tena from Voice in Laos, and I would like to say that I'm really thankful about your like the great milestone, especially about the information that describing about the situation of LGBT in Laos. And at first, I was about to ask about the because in the research it's mentioned about the education sector, but it seems that since Lisa asked already about like at your plan, and also because it's really great if we could provide this information and this information to the teachers or the education sector, especially. But it seems that there are so many sector that are in the town. I mean, in the center. But do you have any plan to have the dissemination meeting like this to other education sector in other provinces? Because I just screening the research. It seems that you have the research or you have the dissemination about the LGBT situation in just only in the like the main province. How about the other? Do you have any plan to work on this? Okay, that's my first question. And my second question, I would like to know that your research is just I'm sorry if it like the way of like you have the research and analysis about the situation. Do you have the interview or you have the survey just only for the people with gender diversities? Do you have the research with the people like with the other people like from the elders or from the other people that did you ask them about the situation? Yeah, so that's my question. I hope that you get it.
Thank you, Tena, for your excellent questions. Let me say this. So the first one, as you are aware that funding is a very critical factor when it comes to research. Research is expensive. Research requires, especially if you want to expand it, the size, the scale of research, it requires so many steps. Actually, we have to if you want to do a bigger scales, we have to ask the permission from the government in the relevant sectors. So yes, research is expensive. It requires so many steps. But I think that your suggestions is great, especially there are so many focal points here, and also the high level also listening to your question, like World Bank, UNDP, and other UN agencies and embassies. So I think that the answer, I cannot give you a definite answer, but this has to be a collective support from so many sectors here. It doesn't have to be proud to be us Laos taking the lead, but I think the other CSOs and all other organizations, INGOs and UN agencies can play a role in this regard. And the second question, I think that we also involve elders LGBT in the research. But as I said to Vanida previous question, we tend to collect everybody's opinion rather than specific specific emphasis in particular group. So yeah, I think that I don't know if I answer your question properly. Yeah.
สบายดี
I need, yeah. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah.สบายดี Thank you for. Yes. Yeah, I'm Nid from APL Plus. Thank you, Anand, for your very good presentation. Yeah, I think if next year or next time you can add some point from us because now we are doing like a service for PrEP or PEP or an SIV service for community. So if you want to add, we can send that some key point to you next time. Thank you.
Sorry, you said that if we plan to. Can you repeat your question again?
Oh, sorry, because I'm driving.
Okay.
I'm driving. Yeah, we are now doing like a community lead monitoring study survey. If next year, please add some results from us. We are happy to send you or to show you some key point from our side for HIV/AIDS service and some issue from community.
Oh, thank you. I think it's great. We are more than happy to include that. Yes. And HIV/AIDS prevention topic is one of the priorities when it comes to LGBTI rights advocacy. Actually, I think Proud to Be Us Laos started from working on HIV/AIDS prevention to get to where we are. So definitely, thank you. Yes, we have maybe one last insight before we run out of time. Sompavong, yes, Silapet.
สบายดี Silapet from WHO. Thank you so much for sharing the variable and useful information related to LGBTI, and I also want to add in what Aini said. We are working to support the HIV program. Actually, our main role is to support in terms of development policy and technical guidance, testing, treatment on HIV and sexual transmitted infection. But beside the technical work, we also support the government to decide the service delivery to the specific group or general group, which is includes the LGBT. And I'm really happy to listen to you. And what we are working on is align with the recommendation that we listened to the group. For example, when we develop the guideline related to the service delivery, we also invite the representative or the community of LGBT to join us to give their thought and they how to say the opinion on the service delivery to meet the need. This is really important through the step of design service delivery. And we don't have much activity, directly activity with the community, but through our partner CSO like APL Plus or also CHEAS, we really hope that in the near future we can collaborate to work together to promote HIV or STI preventions and promote the knowledge and awareness among our community. So hopefully that we can have any kind of event or activity together in the near future.
Thank you so much, Sompavong Silapet. Remind me your organization again.
WHO.
WHO. Thank you so much. I think what you said, it reminds me of this quote, nothing without us, nothing again, what is that? Nothing without us, right? So when it comes to working on this issue, if you don't involve the community, that doesn't mean anything, right? So we are very delighted that you represent your organization to join the session, and we are very happy to collaborate with you in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think is there any last point before we close? Okay, I think everybody addressed their insights. Nothing about us without us. Thank you, Victoria. Yes, this is very powerful quote, really, and I think that we also take this quote very close to our heart. All right, so we had the last hand from the ADWLE. Yes, before we close, maybe we hand out to ADWLE. Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me clearly? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, my name is Latanapun Haluskid. I am a project officer from ADWRE, or Association for Development of Women and Legal Education. Actually, at first, I have a difficulty in access to Zoom core, but I'm sorry if I missed some information about your presentation. Actually, it's a wonderful one. But my question is that, have you ever done a survey on the, the LGBTQ person who are affected by the GBV, like gender-based violence? Like how many of them, or how many percentage of them that have been through like a 4 types of violence that stipulated in Lao laws? I'm not sure if have you ever done a survey like this before, and also I also asked for like a future collaboration between ADWRE and also Be Us Laos, because I see such a civil lining for us like to collaborate in the future, and also to like, for example, when your focus group like experience 4 types of violence, even though they are like LGBTQI plus people, we are also welcome. And we also have like a fewer number of them, but most of them like are like a number of women and also children who experience like 4 types of violence in Laos. But we are still like want to encourage, and also maybe through this channel to like how to say, like urge everyone like to promote the justice like for LGBTQI plus community, like people like to use our service, because we have 3 legal aid service like located in Winton Capital, in Saitani, and also Sangtong district. Like we give like a free of charge legal aid services. Because there's some problems that like the LGBTQI plus people, they feel like intimidated, like because they feel like they are illegal because for the states that they were born with. Like, so I want like for all of you like to spread the message like, okay, there's nothing wrong with you, like just be open-minded and like share and also speak up about the issue, because we're willing to listen to you. So yeah. So, sorry if I
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, your name again. Wanapon, right? Latanapon. Yeah, I remember you, but just forget your name. Sorry. Well, thank you for your last question. I think that we didn't have the specific GBV topic in the research, but we merged with the law and national law and policy, and also with the health sector, because this one also, you know, when it comes to health, sexual health, is where they express about their gender and some sort of violence, physically and mentally. So I think I recommend you to read the full report. And I missed the last one you shared. So please email me for further clarification. and thank you for your words on that. Okay, so I hope I answer your question, and feel free to email me for further information.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can
All
I
right,
just,
thank you everybody. I think we just
Sorry, Anand, I couldn't find my hand up signal, so I just had to start talking. Just to also note, with the question there regarding violence against LGBTIQA+, there is quite limited information on that generally, but it is well accepted around the world in virtually every country that LGBTIQA+ people are subjected to much higher rates of violence than other people. Sorry, I'm speaking on behalf of UNFPA. I'm a gender-based violence specialist. We did conduct some focus group discussions with LGBTIQ+ people regarding online violence or technology-facilitated gender-based violence, where we did find that LGBTIQ+ people were at a higher risk, and particularly for image-based abuse. So people are requesting explicit images of them or sending explicit images of themselves without consent. So it's something that is definitely on, I think, our radar. I know it's on your radar, Anand, and it's also on the radar of UNFPA. We did include in recent standard operating procedures for when we train health sector and the social sector, specifically on how to respond to violence cases against LGBTIQA+ people. We know that they do receive these cases, and we have received confirmation from both social sector and health sector that they do accept without discrimination, including Lao Women's Union. And when I've done training sessions with them specifically on this, they have been very, very interested to know more and how they can do better from a service delivery perspective. So thank you for raising that. Thanks, Anand.
Thank you, Victoria, for giving more concrete information on the previous question, and that would be nice if you can share that report or whatever you call via email that we email to participants, so everybody can get access to that. Thank you so much. All right, so I think it comes to the ending time. So on behalf of Proud to Be Us Laos, ภูมิใจที่เป็นเฮา we would like to thank you for your valuable time to listen to the launching report session, and thank you so much to our supporter, United Nations Development Program (UNDP) in Laos, and thank you everybody to all partners. So make sure that you post something on the IDAHOBIT Day on your social media. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Victoria, for sharing. I hope Latanapon, ADWRE can get access to that, and those who are interested. All right, bye-bye. ขอบใจหลายๆเด้อสำหรับเวลาพบทาน
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
ขอบ
Anand.
ใจ
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. À bientôt.
Bye-bye.
Kia ora.
Bye bye.